Kia ora watu e Homa, and welcome to Mount Smart. And action today featuring the domestic Samoan squad lining up against the New Zealand residents out of the Bartercard Premiership. A very warm welcome as well to Tony Kemp and Peter Ropati joining us in the commentary booth this afternoon. Fellas, a special moment, and I know that Peter, for you, you just arrived home this morning. And our condolences to you and your whānau and to those viewers who have connections back up in Samoa. We are just awaiting a moment's silence. You'll be familiar with the fact that there was a official day of mourning just a couple of days ago in Samoa, and the crowd here at Mount Smart have been asked to just observe a moment's silence to pay our respects to those lives lost, and those loved ones who were lost in last week's tsunami.
Yeah, there's no other voices.
Thank you very much. Please remain upstanding for the song, the national anthem.
So that's a moment's silence, just recognising the sadness that has engulfed the friendly islands of Samoa. And as you can see, our broadcast today is to encourage you at home. The Yandel sisters singing the national anthem of Samoa.
Please remain standing for the national anthem of New Zealand
Rugby League. And among the first wave of migrants that came across in the 1950s to New Zealand, along with the Arkois, the Ropatis, and many others. It's wonderful to have them singing the Samoan national anthem. This is Lapi Marana with the New Zealand national anthem.
New
Hello, welcome to Mount Smart Stadium. And this game featuring the domestic squad that's come down from Samoa. And no doubt there would have been some who thought that maybe this trip wasn't to take place. But instead, the New Zealand Rugby League have invited the Samoan domestic team to New Zealand. And I'm very pleased that Māori Television and many other organisations have come together today to raise funds for the tsunami appeal. And throughout the afternoon, there'll be a number flashing across your screen to encourage you to just quickly dial up, and the $20 donation will be going straight to the people of Samoa. As you can see, we're just about to await the haka from the New Zealand team, which we responded to by the team from Hamor as well. Traditional welcome to Aotearoa, led there by William Heta, the standoff for the Otahuhu Club. And we're just awaiting a response from Samoa, Toa Samoa. The response to the haka. And over a week ago we saw the impact of the tsunami that it had on the contribution to the boxing fight of David Tua and Shane Cameron, and it certainly fueled the emotion on that night, and have no doubt that we'll see a little bit of that again this afternoon. A nice response to the haka there by the Samoans. Let's roll through the two squads, and for Toa Samoa, as I mentioned, all of these players based up in the islands. Ulufale's in one, Iosefo. For Moano, Salima Pasene, Lepo and Chantong their back line today. And we've got Tony Kemp will pick up on the Bartercard selection.
Yeah, Johnny Aranga at the back for the Bartercard selection, along with Junior Solovale, Craig Smith and Gunther Schumkel in the centres. James Blackwell on that wing with Willie Heta and Calvin Wright rounding out the halves.
Peter has been down talking with the connections from Toa Samoa as well, so throughout the game we'll just talk a little bit about the clubs they're involved in, but also some of the villages. Obviously those in the southern parts of the islands hit hardest. We'll go through that as the commentary unfolds. US, Siona, Wiki, Mason, Pōlanga and Leisam make up the engine room for Toa Samoa.
Yeah, Puki Puki, Sherlock, Turawhenua, Banford, Torfell, and captained by Johnny Limmer on the back of the scrum.
Well, this is a pretty handy New Zealand residents team, of course, just come back off the back of the Bartercard Provincial Championship won last week in the last-minute thriller over Auckland. The Cantabrians and the New Zealand residents team, coached by Brent Stewart, had a bit to do with the makeup of that squad, Tony.
Yeah, it's a wonderful way to finish off and round out the season for these boys. They probably played over the 6 weeks, the boys who deserve the accolade of representing their country with the selection in this side. So a wonderful opportunity for us to build on their relationship with our Pacific partners. Of course, a wonderful event here supporting the tsunami and all the victims up in Samoa.
And speaking of which, Peter really returned this morning at 11:30. So, Pete, I know you went up there to just check on the welfare of your family, and I'm, saddened and moved when you gave me the word this morning that you'd lost half a dozen of your family members in that tragedy. You must be really just coming to terms with being back in New Zealand after witnessing the devastation of back home.
The thing that never ceases to amaze when you go back to Samoa is how reliant the people are on their faith. And it's when you understand the faith that they have, and Samoa has a motto, which is in God that this island was built upon, that they look to their faith to carry them through times like this. And they all talk about now being strong for those that have lived through this. But it's a time, I think, that it's going to be extremely challenging as they go forward. A lot of challenges in front of Samoa.
Really like the way that New Zealanders have been galvanised by this tragedy. And speaking with representatives from the other code too during the week, Michael Jones and Inga and David Tour, they've all been working hard. Container loads of goods and supplies being sent up to the islands, and all people generously donating their services. So people are really putting it together, and good on New Zealand Rugby League for organising a day like today, but more so the crowds who've come and paid their money, bought their sausages, thrown their spondoolies in the bucket, and through the course of the game we hope that you will do the same. If you pick up on the 0900 number, just a quick dial through to that, and you'll put a $20 donation into the fund, which will go directly to Samoa. To the game we go now, and it's across to Willie Heta, who scoots it across field. It's taken confidently by the number 2 out wide too. That's Tommy Osefo, and he's tackled about 10 out from his own line.
Look forward to the style of football that you're going to get from the Samoans. Most of their competition is predominantly 9-a-side. So they don't opt to play 13. That's about number of players that are involved. For the first time in the history of rugby league in the islands, they're now playing head-to-head, going up against the rugby union code. In the past, it's about playing at the back end and I guess, the traditional off-season. So it will certainly test the way that they approach the game this afternoon. Plenty of motion certainly behind it, but finding some shape and being able to be competitive against a Bartercard side. Great initiative, Tony Kemp, to have this back. Yeah, we're talking about having provincial rugby league, now giving them a sense of that there is an alternative. If you don't get involved in the pro game, there's still something just as good to become part of.
Yeah, Pete, that's right, and it's a good initiative too. I think when you're inviting the likes of Samoa and Tonga, hopefully get Fiji. Look here, James Blackwell's going to go in for the first try for the Bartercard Premiership side. Wonderful backline movement there. Willie Heta finding space out there on their left edge. But just touching on that, Pete, it is a way to say to these players in New Zealand in the provincial competition, you are going to get a reward at the end of it.
Well, Blackwell in for a good try here. This Bartercard team is well primed. The Auckland and Canterbury teams predominantly represented here, although we have a sprinkling of Wellington and Waikato players there. But the boys on the top of their game, and expect them to run well. They're on television. They know that plenty of people are watching, and they're looking for higher honours. This man, Blackwell, well, he has been an outstanding player for Otahu through 2009, and he was there to profit from some good backline work after it's picked up by Calvin Wright, and then worked with the double around, slick work, and just catching the Toa Samoa team out close to the line. Let's go sideline though, because Tamati has a former Kiwi international and Warrior, Owen Guttenbeil, with him.
Hi, Tikara Dowler with me, Owen Guttenbeil, former Warrior player. Look, Owen, what do you think this day means to the people of Samoa?
Yeah, I think it's very important to see that New Zealand Rugby League and also Rugby League in general trying to do their best to send some funds over there, because you can only imagine the devastation that's over there, and it's nice to see everyone turn out today and support what is such a needy cause.
Look, one player that you know a lot about, Ruben Wiki, he's coming out of retirement to play in the game today. Just your quick thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, awesome. You know, Rubes would have been the first bloke to put his hand up to help the cause, and it's something that he's always said he's wanted to do is represent Samoa, and he's going to get the chance.
What do you reckon? He's going to last the full 20, 30, 40?
I think as soon as the shoulders hit a few people, the opposition will be wanting to go off very quickly.
Okay, Tikara, back to you, Dale.
Thanks very much, Tamati. Good to have Owen here as well. And he's doing some good things with the local footy and doing some media work as well. And he's really well suited for it. And to kia ora to his Māori connections in the north, and of course some strong Tongan connections too with Owen Guttenbeil. But he's been a real mentor for many of the young players here in and around Tamaki Makaurau. Speaking of which, isn't that what Ruben has been doing? Wonderful with kids, Pete. He's been working as a sort of ambassador for the leisure services out here in Manukau, at the swimming pools, at the different events for the tamariki. Really cut out for that gig.
Well, he was always sort of aimed. I think once those playing days come to an end, it seems as though they're never quite finished for Ruben, though. Getting the opportunity again this afternoon, and one that he's certainly going to relish from the village on his Samoan side of Saputu. So a great opportunity for Ruben to be part of what we've got here this Arvo.
And whereabouts is your particular village, Pete?
We're down on the southeast coast there, Lalamanu, part of perhaps the worst hit coastline there in Samoa, the recent tsunami. And it's a lovely part of the world.
Bit of an upside, rediscovering your great-granddad's urupa.
Yeah, it was nice to have the opportunity. We have never been able to get to it. With the recent events up there, they've created a new road which has allowed some easy access, and so this time around being able to get up the hill and find the grave of our great-grandfather was a special moment for us.
I suppose too, Tony, for the people living lower and closer to the sea, that be in two minds whether to rebuild back down there or to get into higher ground, it's certainly going to cause some major infrastructural challenges for Samoa.
It is, and I think Pete touched on it too, just going back recently and having the devastation of that island polarised with another earthquake, and seeing the people having the panic over their faces. Pete was talking to me before the game. It's a scary moment, but like you said, resilient people, the Samoans. Plenty of my friends, as soon as I heard about it, contacted a very good friend of mine, Johnny Schuster, down in Wellington. Spoke to Freddie Tuolagi, who's the coach of the Samoan team. Played for Halifax and St Helens against me plenty of times over in the UK, and of course known a number of Samoans who either lost someone in that devastating natural disaster, or associated with it. So they've got big work, but I'm sure they'll be, like I said, a resilient family that can get it all done.
So Samoa with the ball now, and 20 metres out, and putting some pressure on for the residents. There's the grubber kick through, but it's offside, and the referee read that pretty well. It must have been 3 or 4 metres offside, it would have seemed.
Just keep an eye on Chantang, the number 7. Certainly no shortage of ability and to be able to control the game, shift it around. He's former Manu backup number halfback, so plenty of experience. And you talk about guys that predominantly play nine-a-side now, and they all come from the rugby code. 3 or 4 of them out there have been involved in the IRB 7 circuit for the last couple of years. So they bring a lot of the sort of open flowing football to the game. It's about their shape and structure, particularly defensively, being able to read the right plays, make the right decisions. As we saw with Blackwell getting the first try, that's where they got caught, and they'll get caught a few more times this afternoon as well.
Out of dummy half goes Nathan Sherlock, puts the flick on and picks up Siali Tufao. He's been real good. Johnny Lim has been outstanding as well for Canterbury. And this is a well-balanced squad. With ball in hand now, the residents shaping through the middle. Here is Bamford. He has been brilliant. Gets the offload, but sadly for him, manages to flick it on to Tom Iosefo. Close to the touchline too, and he's forced into touch, sadly, for the Toa Samoa team, who will concede a scrum feed about 12 out.
Yeah, both sides of the New Zealand side here, Dale, heavily influenced on the right edge for Canterbury with Chris Bamford, of course, Craig Smith and Junior Solival. And of course on the left-hand side, Tufao had a massive season in the Premiership, and inside him he's got Willie Heta and James Blackwell, Gunther Shumkel, a very heavily Auckland contingent out there, so a lot of strike power, both sides of the pitch.
How good is Bamford though? I saw him the semi-final up against Wellington, then even in the final up against Auckland, he was good.
Danger, here he goes again too. Oh, he is very good, Blacklock, don't you worry about that. Or Blackwell, I should say. Skillful and fast, and he likes to celebrate after a try or two as well. There could be some points notched up here this afternoon, but let's face it, Whānau, what we're trying to do is grow the game in the Pacific. You might elaborate on this, Tony, because the International Rugby League Board wants to try and grow the football in and around the Pacific Rim, and we've just come off the back of a series in the Cook Islands.
That's right. The Samoan team have just come down from the Cook Islands, where they finished 3rd in that Pacific Rim tournament, a nines tournament that Peter was talking about. But like you're saying, Dale, it's important here, just as we have a look at the replay, it's just a one-on-one here with James Blackwell. He's got plenty of speed, this boy. Played fullback for the Auckland Premiership side. Couldn't leave him out of the side, so put him on the left wing. And he likes one-on-one opportunities here. He's just got too much pace to get on the outside here, but you're dead, Robert. What trying to achieve from an international game, these guys, of course, from Samoa, if they make the national Samoa team to play in this tournament to find the recipient who will go into 2010 as a four-nation side to play the New Zealand and the Poms, of course Australia, where it's really important that us as New Zealand lead the way and create meaningful events against those Pacific partners. So this is I suppose, the first step of that program, and over the next few years, Dale, we'd like to see the likes of Fiji, Papua New Guinea again, Tonga of course, and New Zealand Māori play some part in representing the Pacific Rim, and opportunities for the likes of Samoa, Tonga at the moment to get in the Four Nations. But just the competition needs to grow, and if we're going to have meaningful World Cups, we need to continue to grow the game.
I think it's also important, Tony, that as we contribute to the development of, I guess, the second tier of the Pacific nations, that it also recognises the efforts of those playing domestically in that second tier, that they're given an opportunity to play. When was the last time a New Zealand residents 13 had an opportunity to play Australia or England? You know, something to look forward to. If you're not involved in the professional league, you know that there is higher achievements possible if you just pursue domestically.
Well, you've played in plenty of those games yourself, Pete. I remember getting Auckland getting Australia that night at Carlo Park. And of course, there was a local Auckland side, so you're dead right. We just need to start building those calendars here as the Premiership boys go on a bit of a roll. And the Samoan boys finding it hard to hit and stick in first up contact to fail.
But not only stick, I think, in that first contact, it's being able to adjust and read and get back and make the decisions that are going to matter. They're going to find it difficult, but it's when ball in hand that they're certainly going to be able to throw some questions, because individually, plenty of speed. They're not a big side. I was surprised when they came on the field. Not very big at all.
They might have to use some wheels. He's a really good man to have in your team, isn't he? That Kelvin Wright can play, 6, 9, 7, 1, anything you like. A little knock on there by the New Zealand residents team. We're calling the shots for us down on the sidelines. Tamati Tianangi and Hoa Whakaro Tene Kemu. Might just have his headphones set on at the moment. We'll come to him in a little while. Also, we've got a number of high-profile players here. The New Zealand team, of course, in New Zealand in preparation for this Four Nations series being held over in England and in France. They play against Tonga next Wednesday at Rotorua. So please, if you can, get along to support. Go along and total both teams. And, of course, a big challenge there for Steve Kearney and his youngish squad. But I did note I saw Sammy Perrott here, and Isaac Luke is here as well. So they'll be heading down to Rotorua with Tony a bit later on, Tony.
Yeah, that's right. Steve Kearney and, of course, all the boys that played in the grand final. What a wonderful game it was, the Parramatta Melbourne game. They arrive into town today and go straight from here, Dale, and pick them up on the Waka and take them down to Rotorua in preparation for that game on Wednesday night. So they were looking good. It's good that they get preparation New Zealand for 10 days. They'll be well prepared to go into this Four Nations.
A young team, but obviously selected with the future in mind. There is the cross-field kick that eludes everybody and is out on the far side of the field. Good crowd in here today too. Just the bottom tier of the eastern stand being used, but it's really good to keep all the whānau together. And it is about whanaungatanga today, of course. Everyone's very conscious of why we're here. Obviously, some are here because they love rugby league, but others have come along specially to support the appeal. And I implore you to do the same. Here's the number, 0900 75 633. Now, you know there are many, many ways to donate. This is the one that we're pushing today. So please grab your hold of your phones right now and dial up there, $20, and you know that it's going straight to the people of Samoa, and that is hugely appreciated. I'd like to also acknowledge Māori Television for allowing this spot this afternoon for this to occur, for us to cover the game, and at the same time, hopefully you'll be generous and help out by donating through that little mechanism there, 0900. All right, Tamati Tānanga, I don't want to leave you out down there, mate, because you're right in the thick of the action, and feel free to chime in at any time, but for now, hau whakaro.
Yeah, tika tonu, Dale. Look, the thing that's overwhelming for myself is to see the amount of former Warrior players come out and support as trainers, as supporters for the Samoan team. You've got the likes of Logan Swan, former prop, Joe Vagana, even Paddy Evans out there with the water bottles running them out to the boys. And I think that's something unique, and that shows that the love that they have for Samoa.
Yeah, it's been very obvious that since the wave of Pacific Island migrants came across to New Zealand in the 50s and 60s, it has changed forever. The makeup of rugby league in New Zealand. They like the hard work of it as well, and just like Māori people, you know, love the physical contact. But there's some wonderful names, and it is, Pete. It's great to see these guys who've enjoyed some serious stature in the game coming out and helping this young side that have come across from the islands.
But one thing that's also been very noticeable in the last week or so is the diversity of the support that's come from all quarters, not only from Samoans, from New Zealanders. And when you look within the realms of the world of rugby league, it surprised me and was pleasing to see the response and how quick that they responded in Australia, with both Parramatta, the Storm, the National Rugby League, all contributing extensively coin towards the relief fund on Thursday. So from all quarters, the support has been overwhelming, and not just from Samoans, but from New Zealanders.
Well, when I was speaking with Michael Jones, I said, well, what's needed up there, Mike? He said, well, Dale, put it this way. If you've absolutely had everything in your household swept out to sea, you'd be appreciative of a nail, of a hammer, of a spanner, of just anything, a kitchen sink, a window. I mean, they're starting from scratch, many of these people who are just absolutely wiped out by it. So give generously, whānau. There's one way to do that through the 0900 number we're using this afternoon, but obviously there are those of you who already have done so and will continue to give. We just know that our whānau up there in the islands are doing it tough, and if we can help, we will. Here they come anyway. Let's ride them home as head-up time's taken by their little number 12. This is Poalanga. He'll play the ball back to Gafasiona, who is in the dummy half position, turns it on the right, little change of angle, but the New Zealand residents team equal to the task. Good field position though for Toa Samoa.
Well, and just keeping an eye on the number 9 and Siona as well. So much comes out of it. Right now, it reminded me of the kick before, driving back to Whaliolu Airport yesterday afternoon. There's only 2 games or 2 codes that you see them playing in the late afternoon sun, and that's either volleyball or rugby league, call it whatever you want. It's played with the same ball in their heads.
Every village has got a boxing ring though, Pete.
He's big over there, David Toa.
Well, wasn't he fantastic though? Here's the cutout ball, and looks like Toa Samoa going for the line. Oh, well done, lads. Yes, and the crowd are very, very pleased for them. It was a tough ask. This is a good residents team they're up against today. So some smart play there by Toa Samoa close to the line.
Yeah, they were acting as battering rams there in the first 4 plays of that set of 6, second after a dropout. But just getting them on the edge here. Mason with a nice carry, got plenty of speed, found by the standoff as it shifted out to the right-hand side. Just have a look here, they're caught short. Willie Heta has to readjust. Just got too much speed there for Johnny Aranga to get there, but he comes late, Johnny Aranga. He's had a couple of steals out of dummy half, the Samoan boys, but here they're caught short outside the post there. Willie Heta, only 2 men past him, and it's a foot race from here. The big back row's got too much speed. They go for their first one of the day.
Boys in trouble, weren't they? When Heta sort of coming back, not quite sure whether to get involved, and then Blackwell creating that sort of jagged line. The opportunity was in. The longer they had the ball in hand, the more threatening they were as they got closer to that line. Well constructed, and certainly will lift their spirits knowing that, hey, we can be in this game.
Dutase Masoe, the try scorer from the Saints Club in Samoa and from the village of Asau on the island of Savaii.
That's been interesting, the number of players from Savaii, the big island, but certainly the least developed. And just to the right on this occasion. So it's a big effort, the contribution from the island of Savaii. Most of their rugby league is played in Apia, so it's a ferry ride across the water every weekend to play in the local competition. Just shifting it wide here. You can see the staggered line there of the resident side. Just takes it to the line, and Masoe, he's happy.
Good try, and the crowd enjoying that very much as well. I would say be very easily half Samoan here today, you'd have to reckon, Tony.
Yeah, look, the reason I'm giggling, I'm keeping my eye down here on Ruben Wiki on the bench. He can't sit still. He's up, he's down, he's walking the sidelines. He doesn't know whether to be a trainer, to be a runner. This bloke here, he just can't wait to get on. I feel sorry for the first bloke that has to tackle him.
Exactly, because you know what he's going to give up, don't you? You know, you're talking about 20 years of opportunity that's finally crystallised for Ruben. Look out.
Well, I was lucky enough to talk with him yesterday, and he said, well, Dale, this one fulfills my bucket list.
Well, here it comes. Or is this just another warm-up?
Here we go.
I'm telling you now, hear me on the Freddie Tuolagi saying, get me on. I don't care if you put me on at fullback, just get me on the pitch.
Isn't he a character as well to be the coach?
Oh, he is.
I've heard some stories about Tuilangi.
Oh, here's the double around again. This has been already good as the offload comes. Nice work from Johnny Arling on the far side to the 2-try scorer, James Blackwell. He'll play it now, 18 from the try line now. 8-4 the scoreline. Samoa hanging it with the residents team up by 2 tries to 1. Neither of them converted from wide out by Willie Heta. And we set ourselves about 15 out from the try line, 10 to the left-hand side of the post. First receiver is Calvin Wright, and then there is a big yawning gap that opens up and taken advantage to by Jay Puke. He's been impressive, Jay Puke, throughout the Bartercard tournament, and he strolls through to score under the post. Good try to the New Zealand residents.
Yeah, big Jay Puke called in, of course, for Vince Whare, who in that massive head clash with Craig Smith in the final, the game against Canterbury and Auckland, finding big holes in the Samoan defence there. That man, Calvin Wright, Pete did touch on him before. He does good with the ball in his hands at number 9, number 7. Of course, played on the back of the scrum as well, but
it's such a luxury in it when you've got smart 7s and 9s can play, but they were always in trouble. The minute the ball left the heel, they were in trouble. It was a big pocket. There was a big round shape to their defensive line that was suggesting, Puke, come here, and it's made for players like him who like to play close off the ruck. Plenty of power, plenty of determination. And if you offer a channel, as they did on that occasion, it was always going to end one way, and that was with a 4-point.
Well, speaking of Puke, of course, they've just returned from the Cook Islands, where the Toa Samoa team was 3rd in that Pacific Rim competition. Fiji taking out the competition, but very good to be sort of spreading the tournament around the islands and getting people to have input. Of course, Jay Puke from the Celebration Lions in Christchurch. You may recall him from the Auckland Vulcans back a few years ago. He did have a run too with the Warriors squad back in the day, and has also played Lion Red Cup footy, so that is going back some time with the Waitakere Rangers. But onto a good ball there from Calvin Wright, and into score underneath the posts. Well, Peter Courts from New Zealand Rugby League is with Tamati's sideline. Let's get Peter's thoughts now.
Te kara, Dale, and with me, yes, the General Manager of the New Zealand Rugby League. Peter, what does this mean for the Samoan people?
Oh, look, I guess it's about more than what it means for just the Samoan people. There's, Māori Pacific Islanders make up the vast majority of people play the game in this country. The Samoan communities here and in the islands are intertwined. So, yeah, Ruben and I are both Māori Samoans, so got to go both ways. So I think it's huge for them, huge for us. We're just honoured to have had the opportunity to be able to put this on.
Peter, for talking to us. Back to you, Dale.
Hey, thanks very much, Tamati. Sorry to interrupt there, mate. It's because Pete's done a good job in helping to put this program together. But as you sense there, the residents team streaking away down the left flank, and that through Siala Tufao. Through the middle comes Calvin Wright. He's still 15 out from the try line. They're looking for try number 4 now on the 5th and final tackle. So Toa Samoa have to be on their game to repel this attack as it goes through Heta. Pauses and then gets it to Aringa, who chips to the side, trying to pick up his number 2, which is Junior Salival, but the ball beats everyone into touch.
Mate, forget that. I want to go back and talk about Ruben Wiki, who's now on the football field. He's been warming up for the last 10 odd minutes. He got an opportunity defensively to chase. That's an ugly way to come into the game. And as he's pursued and wanted to chase, the gap got bigger and bigger and bigger. His hamstrings, they're twitching.
I'll tell you, what about that? His first run is from a kick-off, it's 50 metres, and then he turns around and he has to chase down James Blackwell, which is 70 metres, and now he's at a scrum. And now he has to carry the football. Look at him. He's at hoop at the moment.
He's burning.
The boys like seeing their ex-teammates doing it tough. That's what this is about, I think. And 15 from the line. We have Toa Samoa in possession of the football.
Listen to the roar, mate. Listen to the roar. Here he comes.
There he goes. My question is he going to carve up or carve her up? But anyway, great to see him out on the field. And like we say, fulfilling one of his long-held ambitions.
Well, I got the clock on right now, so how long that headgear stays on. Because he'll be burning up inside right now in their throat. It'll be screaming.
He'll be bringing back some memories, all right, Pete. 12 months out of the game, and he's had to do a couple of intervals.
He's playing fullback. That's it, playing fullback right now.
All right, the residents with the ball on their 40 metres.
This kid here, Junior Salival, has had an absolutely outstanding competition with the Canterbury Bulls. He's 27 years of age. He has the fastest play the ball I've seen in New Zealand Rugby League. I don't know if you remember the game, but against Wellington in the semi-final, if it wasn't for Junior, the man in the picture, he picked up 7 penalties that day. And each one of them got Canterbury out of jail. If it wasn't for him, they would have actually lost that semi-final.
Well, you must have been feeling it watching that game for Wellington. Yeah, it was so many memories of the way it used to be. Wellington turned up, they were physical, they were big, they're strong, they dominated the game for so long, but slowly allowed Canterbury. And Canterbury's a football side, as we saw in the final last week. They just don't go away.
Yeah, to their credit, they did really well to have that last-minute win, as we see Patrick Matulino carry the football. That's him up to play it in jersey number 16. There's a little offload from Sherlock. But it might be Sione Dongi, excuse me. It's not, in fact, Paddy. Will be on shortly, no doubt. Here's Sherlock with the ball, though. First receiver is Calvin Wright. Works it on to Heta. Heta holds it up there. They've got the numbers as Arlinger feeds wide, and the residents should be in for another try, and they will be. This time through their talented number 4, Gunther Schumpkel, who comes around to score beside the posts. Well, they're showing that they've certainly better prepared at the moment, the residents. But take nothing away from Toa Samoa. We know the reason that we're here today, and that's that 0900 number. I'd also like to pay tribute to the guys who've put together all the equipment at no cost so that we could broadcast today. As I mentioned, most of the crew donating their time and services, so we'll whack that number up on the screen as well, and you can contribute from home. But let's get another look at how this try develops.
Yeah, it's just gone out and moved between the halves. 2 hits, he's just found some space here. Johnny Aranga chiming into the line nicely. Gunther Schumpkel's had a massive season for the Mount Albert Lions, of course winning the Fox Memorial up here for Auckland. Gaining honours here today with the premiership team, but just a nice sleight of hands here by both halves. A nice pass. Johnny Aranga pulling it down and finding Gunther off his left foot and goes around, extends it under the post. Should be another easy kick for Willie Heta.
They just had nice shape right from the outset with all that depth. You know, the ability to hold on the ball a little bit longer, take a few more steps, invite the defensive line to get closer to you, and they always had the depth on the outside, so catch and pass. Well constructed, well finished. Certainly Samoa has shown that they may have their issues defensively, but we know they can score some tries. So as long as they keep scoring and having the best of what's going to come on the back of this kickoff, it's about being able to get down the other end, get the ball in hand, and keep themselves in the game.
Yeah, look, the benefit here, having Calvin Wright, Willie Heta playing together, not only for Auckland, but also on this side. The combinations really thought out by the selection process, allowing this big giant Gunther Schumpkel in to get...
Were you part of the selection process?
Yeah. Who's
well, giving yourself some plugs there.
Come on, mate.
I'll tell you what, and the man next to me too, old Dale husband, he's had a,
Can you believe
he's had a
that?
fair say in it.
Now tell me, who are the selectors for the Bartercard squad, Tony?
What happened this year is every premiership coach got the opportunity to put their best players forward for the side. And then, of course, it went into the NZRL and we selected what we thought was the best team that, coming together only on Thursday, Dale, could do the job for the NZRL. So,
Tony, when you say we, yourself along with?
Howie Tamati helped out. He convened the meeting, and we just went through a couple of people here in Auckland, of course, talking to the likes of the coaches, Brent Stewart again,
You
David
Waitara
Lomax.
boys are in charge, aren't you? You Waitara boys are in charge.
Well, Taranaki hardcore, mate. Unfortunately, we couldn't get any of them boys in the side.
I can't see any in there either. Here's Toa Samoa now. With good field position, possession has been against them, 62% in favour of the hosts at the moment, so they've done well to have notched up a try. Of course, like I say, the New Zealand team coming straight out of fresh competition, a little tougher for, as Pete mentioned, a team made up predominantly of rugby union players as well, but it's good experience for them. And great to see, wonderful Samoan names of yesteryear out supporting the cause. There's a nice little offload too, and could have turned into something if Lepo was able to take it cleanly, but he wasn't. I see Jay Puka took a big heat as there he is.
Yeah, big Jake there, Dale. Jake the Muss with the big right hand fan. He got one on Sione Tungia, and I don't know who was the man coming for the second one, got that one. You have a look here.
It's a nice little reminder, isn't it?
It is, mate. That's what we had. And a nice little offload. Just caught, I suppose, that the attacker unaware. He still looks the good, Ruben, doesn't he?
Well, the phrase that class never goes away. No matter how old you'll come out, you may not be able to execute as quickly as perhaps you would like, but you can certainly see what the intention is. And the end of that play, after touching up a few, just give him a little reminder, it's Ruben Wiki here. The offload at the back end of it was good.
Yeah, that was a trademark, wasn't it? And sad that they couldn't have taken possession of it. It's Puke once again does the hard graft through the middle. He's slammed to ground too by an enthusiastic tackler. And number 15 today.
Jaulangi.
Might drop in some of these, say kia ora to some of these villages along the way too. Pete, I see you've sussed out where most of these brothers come from. Here's a bit of a gap on the far side of the field. Residents looking to take advantage again. Cleverly kicked forward, ball to ground, bit of a push in the back. Referee says no go. Joe, come on back, and we'll have a Samoan penalty.
He's on his hat-trick too there, Jimmy Blackwell. Unfortunately, Gunther couldn't arc back out to the left wing there. Nice chase back too by the Samoan winger, getting in between the kicker and the attacker. Nice play down the left-hand side again. Calvin Wright finding big Gunther. I thought he may have angled back out here, but decided to put it on his right foot. Good defence. Unfortunately for James, you're not allowed to do that, son.
We've already mentioned a number of times that...
Remind me of Peter Rowe Party.
Yeah, good on you. You needed to be by the ball to be able to do that. But we've already mentioned a number of times that the Samoan side has come via the tournament in the Cook Islands. And unfortunately for some of them, the opportunity to get home and be assured that family are safe. And for one of them, Polanga, the number 12, the back rower, comes from the village of Lepa, which is down on that perhaps worst hit coastline on the southeast coast. So certainly our thoughts with his family and with himself, and hopefully all is safe down there for his ainga.
All right, well, just as the tragedy in Samoa, the tsunami, some nice hands. Let's follow this play. Some wheels down the side too. Pretty tough. Oh, skirting with disaster. Inside ball. Brilliant. Oh, this is a wonderful try. Quite brilliant from Toa Samoa. They made that out of nothing and thoroughly deserved the 4 points. Brilliant effort.
Well, it all started with Pasingi on the left-hand wing, but what finishes it is the right-hand winger coming across in the form of Iosefa. All about speed. We talked already about those that are involved in Union, but it's quality in terms of their Union experience, many of them being involved in the IRB 7 circuit for the last couple of years. And when you look at Iosefa, well, you can see why he's part of it as well. Pure class, pure pace.
Well, let's go sideline because there's a man down there. And just as this tragedy has galvanised cultures throughout New Zealand, it's done likewise with sports people and athletes. And so it's wonderful to see Graham Henry cooking the sausages for the league whānau here at Mount Smart, and also helping him, Kevin Mialamu, who's down on the sideline talking with Tamati.
Ai tika rā hoki, Dale. It's not only the leaguers that have come out to support the cause, but also the ruggers as well. Kevin Mialamu, nice to see you here out here supporting the Samoan people. What do you think this means to the people of Samoa here in New Zealand?
I think it just shows the support that the people here have for them as well. We've got a lot of Samoans that play a lot of sport here, no matter what sort of background we come from. So we just want to make sure we show our support. Yeah, and it's great to see we've got a good crowd here as well. So it's been good.
I guess you've walked around, you've met a lot of the people that are here. How's the wairua or the feeling among the crowd at the moment?
I mean, it's sad to hear the news and stuff, but we're just here to show our support, you know. So it's good to see everyone come out and celebrate, trying to raise some funds here, and I think it's going well. So we've got some sad stories here, but we're just trying our best to keep our heads up and do some good things out here. So it's going well.
So I guess you're here also to stay strong for the living that are still here with us today.
That's right, and that's all we can do. You know, we're far away from home, but I'm sure they feel the love that we're sending over at the moment. So just to everyone back at home, you know, we feel for you, and hope you feel the love that we're sending over. So hope we're doing a good thing.
Tēnā koe, back to you, Dale.
Thanks very much. He's a good man, Kevin Mialamu. Enjoyed his football for, it must be a decade now, Pete.
It's been a long time. He's continued, I guess, the strong tradition of Samoans involved in the game of rugby union. And he reminds me of, obviously, the recent trip home, not only with the likes of Ingo Tuigamala and David Tua being involved, but also the involvement and contribution at the moment from Michael Jones as well. People like Kevin Mialamu, absolute role models, and I don't use that word lightly. It's one that many people sort of throw the tag on without doing it, but some people, they seem to accept it upon their shoulders, and they walk strong. Kevin, I think, is one of those.
I think, Pete, what you see in these times of utter sadness is everyone takes their hat off, no matter if you're an All Black, if you're the best boxer in the world or you represent the Kiwis, you're still a human being, and there is an emotional part and attachment that you need to go out and support. And it's wonderful to see that we have a huge amount of identities here supporting this day.
Well, the Toa Samoa team is starting to hit their stride now, and sadly, commentators curse, and they probably should have done more with that, Pete.
Well, it's often the case that when you allow sides like this to start to sense that they can be part of it, or they can lead, they can score tries, and that last try there by Iosefa certainly raised the spirits considerably, because they're now starting to be a little bit more expansive with the football, not playing within themselves, starting to push it, and unfortunately it's just about being able to control those passes as well. If they can bring some defensive effort, and Ruben is certainly at the front at the moment, his contribution and the time that he's been on, apart from the chase and then having to get back and come again, he's heavily involved.
Very much so, and that will be inspiring his teammates without a shadow of a doubt, as we see the inside ball nicely worked here by the residents, just making their way to the halfway line. Nathan Sherlock's had some really good football. That's him at dummy half. He won't get the chance to actually play dummy half as Swaya Matangi. That's a little faux pas as he gets to his feet, and that'll be a scrum feed for Toa Samoa, just a couple of metres inside the residents' half.
Yeah, big changes too for the New Zealand resident side. The premiership selection, Sione Tongia going on, Matagi going on. So the edges have changed. Banford and Tufao getting a rest. Well deserved too, I think, after that excellent first 35 minutes. They're just making a few too many errors, the New Zealand team. And of course the Samoan boys, plenty of speed to burn, finding themselves once again in heaps of space. And here we have a foot race. It's that speedster. Sefa. And again.
Parseni again. Parseni set it up for Iosefa on the first one. This time they double around and reciprocate your time also. Nice little kick. Nice little touch of pace at the back end of it as well to find the try. And a timely one with only minutes on for the half. And I was just thinking about, we're talking about Ruben jumping up and down. Well, don't be surprised if Tony Tumavavi, who's downstairs as well, along with Joe Wagner, they'll be pleading to Alangi, give me a shirt, give me a shirt. They want to be part of this. Keep Logan off as well.
Well, Logs is out there. It's great to see. But isn't he a talent? This number 5, this is Tanialu Pasene, and he does the fine work down the flank, or the chase actually on the inside. This is good play as well from Tommy Iosefo. So the rubber kick through, the 5 comes and flies, picks up the try as well, and good play by the young number 5.
It's that Samoan flair, isn't it? First tackle, not afraid to put it on the boot, and have a foot race, of course, coming across from the other wing again. Just showing too much pace here, Pete, to get there, and nice chase back by Johnny Limmer, but just not enough to get there first.
And that's when the island nations, and I include sides like Papua New Guinea as well, when they compete, it's when they do the unpredictable, when they do things that perhaps you don't expect sides to do. They're not orthodox, they don't play to the book, they play what's in front of them, and it's good when it happens. Sometimes you pay a price. But at the moment, the back three of Tupu, Iosefa and Paseni, plenty of speed and plenty of desire to have a crack.
Now this one's floating nice and picks up the extra 2 points. That's Lepo. He puts it through for 2 more, and the try scorer Tanialu Pasene from the Lions Club in Samoa. He's from the village of Lauli'i on the island of Upolu. And a great little finish there for the residents as we come down towards the half-time break. This has been a very fine performance. Well, you came here thinking that it would be a one-sided event, Tony. Just bearing in mind the experience of the New Zealanders against the relative inexperience of their opponents coming down from a small competition up in the islands, but they performed creditably. 6 down with a minute to play.
Well, they had a comfortable lead, didn't they, 5 minutes ago, but 2 quick tries has really changed the shape of this game. And of course the Samoans, once they've got a sniff, they've got plenty of speed to burn, and that's what's really catching out the edges here for this New Zealand Premiership team. So
do we still sack selectors?
Early days, mate. Early days, I'll tell you what.
And I'm writing it out now.
The resignation's coming.
Well, he's been a real inspiration, hasn't he, the number 10. Tamati, you're down on ground level. You can sense that when Ruben was preparing, everyone was on edge. He's got on there, and surely just having him on the track at the moment has inspired those around him.
Mate, not only the Samoan bench were upstanding, but also the Baraka selection side were upstanding and clapping them onto the field. And I think, me personally, I think once he got onto the field, it actually lifted the side, and we're evident in seeing that right now.
Well, here they come again. Toa Samoa split through the middle to the line. Oh, Oh, so very close. Absolutely nothing in it there for the number 15. This is Falevao, and he will play the ball, but the referee says it's a knock-on. Well, well. What a run, just pulled up short of the chalk.
And it all came on the back of Paulanga. You know, the opportunity came, the ball went to ground, he just picked it up, played to the ref's call, got some easy meters. And then Taolangi, he certainly knew where he wanted to go, and unfortunately just centimeters from being able to get themselves up the possibility of being able to square it up with the half-time bell not too far away.
Yeah, good chase back there by Sione Tongia, Peter, to pull him down just short of the line. They're going from dummy half. They shifted their ball to the right. They were going for all money, the premiership side, but they're getting out of jail here. A couple of big tackles coming in from the Samoan boys. Of course, always known that they're going to bring plenty of passion to the game. Ruben, of course, having a lot to do with the way that these blokes have been pretty enthusiastic over the last 15 minutes. So, nice wake-up call.
Watch plenty of games involving the Manu, and what they admire most is the collision, the tackle. Sometimes it doesn't matter what the score, it's about what tackle you can put on chest, match up.
Well, halfway through this match here at Mount Smart with the New Zealand residents Bartercard selection up against Toa Samoa. There's one try in at 2014 at the halftime break. And a reminder, we're here to raise funds to help the people in Samoa. So if you can, 0900 756 33. 0900 756 33. $20 will be added to your phone account, and know that it'll be going all the way direct to Samoa. You're watching Māori Television's coverage of Samoa against the New Zealand residents, 20-14 at halftime. Kia ora and welcome back to Mount Smart Stadium. It's 20-14 at half-time. The Bartercard selection leading Toa Samoa in this benefit match broadcast on Māori Television. And a reminder, 0900 756 33 is the number to call. 0900 756 33 to Tautoko Alfano up in the islands. Well, we've got some very, very talented football players who are turning out for the black and white to represent New Zealand. They're down sideline with Tamati. Let's hear from them now.
Ka hauturu ki me ki o te kapa kiwi, ka tuki atu ki te kapa o tonga, hei tēnei wenerei. Ana ka tīmata ke kia Sam Foypert. Kia ora mate, how's things? Look, Sam, what do you think this means to the Samoan people to come out here and support the way they have today?
I think it's going to mean a lot, you know, all the people over here back home. Sometimes, you know, you can feel, I guess, if you're away from the incident, you know, they can feel like there's some support from there. So I think that's what everyone's doing today.
Now, I know, Luke, I know there was a bit of a pull out the straw to see who was going to come today. Tell me a bit about that and why you're here in support of the, I guess, the people of Samoa.
The truth? Nah, just want to be here. I wanted to be part of it. So, I feel for the people that have passed away in Samoa. A lot of boys or family members that I know were in it. So it's good to be here with the other boys. See ya. It's a privilege to be here.
See, you're part Samoan. I guess for you to be here in support of what's happened, it must be something special for yourself.
Yeah, no, it means a lot. You know, this is a tough time for Samoa itself, and you know, they need all the help they can get. And for you know, in New Zealand to do something like this, it's something special for us as Samoan people and as a whole. So, mate, we're really grateful for what they've done today, and hopefully we can keep on helping out as much as we can. No, this is great.
Tēnā kia koutou, and good luck for the game on Wednesday. Back to you, Dale.
Thanks very much, Tamati, and three of our finest. Good to see Sam Perrott in that team. He hasn't let anyone down over the years. Here's the number once again, Whānau. It's a $20 donation, as simple as dialing those, I can't count them all, 4, 5, 9 digits. There we go, 0900 756 33. Kempy's still struggling to count them as we speak.
I'll tell you what, Pete Roputty's struggling to count that much money. That's $20, Pete, that you got to get out of your pocket and send into this wonderful charity to help the whānau back in Samoa. It's been a wonderful game so far, Dale. 20-14 14. Who would have thought that these boys coming down from the island? I know Pete here, he's got a nice smile on his face. He's already handed me my resignation letter to hand into New Zealand Rugby League for selecting this side, but it's going to be a wonderful 40 minutes. Can't wait.
Well, we touched on it at the beginning of the broadcast when we talked about the impact the tsunami had on David Tua in his bout with Shane Cameron, and how it certainly added just a little bit more inspiration to his performance, and no denying that the Samoans here this afternoon were going to feed a little bit on that as well. And the performance in the first 40 minutes has showed glimpses of a side that, ball in hand, while they can certainly score some tries, and they've been good tries. They've been with plenty of excitement from distance, at times showing perhaps their deficiency defensively, but a good 40 minutes. 2014, the Samoans 6 off the pace.
So there it is, the number to call. 0900 756 3. Okay? Well, don't laugh. Don't laugh at that singing. Anyway, one try and a 20-14 at halftime. Stay with us, fun. I've got the second half for you right after this, right here on Māori Television. Kia ora noa, te lofa lava anō. Rau mai hara mai anō. Kia pō whakata Māori. And coverage of League 4 Samoa. The Barcard selection up against Toa Samoa, a charity match for tsunami relief. And once again, whānau, a reminder, the number, the formula, it's simple, 0900 756 3. And you'll donate $20, which will be charged to your telephone account, and that will go straight up to the very needy people who are trying to rebuild their shattered lives after the tsunami that devastated much of the coastline up in Samoa. It's a pleasure to be here this afternoon with Tony Kemp and also Peter Ropati, sideline with Tamati Teananga. And Pete, great to see Toa Samoa in the latter stages of that first half really give themselves a chance, and if they were able to keep their head, if Ruben's able to inspire just a touch more, we could be in for a serious upset. And it's also a lot to do with the opposition as well. A lot of changes happening there with the Barcard side, and when you're playing against and you sense that, hey, they're starting to make those adjustments and not quite settling into a rhythm that they're comfortable with, particularly when you make some changes in some key critical positions, and in particularly when you start looking at your 6, 7 and 9, those who touch the ball more often than not, you sense that someone is not quite there yet, and you take that opportunity, and they started to shift the ball around, were a little bit more expansive, created opportunities out of nothing, and not afraid to have a crack at it. And on both occasions that they found their way through, they came up with 4-pointers that put them back in the game. So at the moment it's a competitive first 40 minutes of football. Now they need to back it up, because the resident side, well, they're going to be fired up as well. They know they perhaps dropped their guard. There's Puke with the ball now, and he's been good. He scored a great try in the first half after Calvin Wright just weighted the pass nicely into space, and Puke was able to surge through and dot down underneath the posts. This is a hit up there by Patrick Matolino, one of the only Wellingtonians, I think, in the squad today, predominantly Auckland and Canterbury. Ball out now to Sione Tongia. G's been good this year, the young player from Otahu, who, of course, he was called into Vulcan's duty quite a lot, but he just seems to do well every time he gets the ball. And with that ball at the moment is the number 1, Johnny Aranga, on the far side of the field, but deemed forward. Hey, Kempi, if you think about the talent on show here from the domestic Samoan competition, it's little wonder that Samoa have become an international powerhouse as well, because if you couple them up with all of the talented pros that are running around with Samoan whakapapa, pretty imposing squad they could put together.
You just have to look back to the World Cup last year, Dale, or the talent that was in show with the likes of Tonga, Samoa, Papua New Guinea, Fiji. The Pacific Rim has an abundance of very, very good footballers. Run a few names off you, the likes of Jared Hayne. Of course, you've got Ruben Wiki running around out there, but also the number of very, very good young kids too that are coming through, like the likes of Eddie Paia, Patrick Avan, Benny Matolino, of course, Pat Matolino's brother. The number goes on and on and on. So it's looking very, very bright for all of the Pacific neighbours in their future. And that memory of that World Cup loss last year to Ireland, coaching staff Tuolangi looking on. Still disappointing, the memories of that game when asked by the Prime Minister of Samoa what happened, and people like David Solomona just summed it up very quickly. Unfortunately, just one of those days where nothing quite seems to go right, but certainly no shortage of talent on display last year in that World Cup. Well, the New Zealand Māori got beat by Ireland too. You'll have to remember that from the campaign of yesteryear. Here's the ball's been launched by Toa Samoa, but taken again by Blackwell. He's a cagey individual, uncanny.
and is very, very difficult to read and then contain. With the ball, Gunther Schomkel. A wonderful sight it is when he breaks free and pins his ears back. Powerful runner. He's had a great season. The residents in good field position now, 20 out from the try line.
Been waiting for the number 9 Sherlock to start running. Been quite content to catch and pass. He's certainly been one of the quality number 9s in the local comp.
Paul Unger with a good tackle on Sherlock, as well as it's fed along through Calvin Wright and through Arlinger. Limmer now. Limmer works it, and there's an open run on the far side. If the wing can get around the outside, but he can't. On the far side of the field, it's Junior Salival. Ball's played now. It's Johnny Limmer. First receipt. Grubber kick to the end goal is too heavy. Some pressure on, and it's had to be run dead by Samoa. So the restart right underneath the posts.
Yeah, look, they're just struggling a little bit. Darren Kingy going on in the second receiver position in place of Willie Heta. I think he got injured in that first half. Him and Calvin Wright not as smooth with their transition of the ball to the edges. Some late catches and some pretty ordinary passing going on there. Junior Solival, of course, being put in space twice, but having to stop to get their ball not hitting at a full pace. They just need to tidy up a little bit with their transfer of their passes if they're to find what seems to be plenty of spaces on the edge, Pete.
And we're just looking at Ruben there as well. We're giving him plenty of stick, but he's certainly making a fist of it. He's settled into this game quite nicely, Ruben Wiki.
I like the game I'm seeing from Johnny Limmer. This will be a try wide for the residents. The offload comes and then the try is scored. I thought for a moment they might have overrun it, but the referee has deemed it to be sweet. A couple of wonderful ex-Kiwis there in the form of James Laulawai.
Another name when you mentioned at the top, the involvement of some names of yesteryear in terms of the Yandel sisters involved, and the Arkoi name comes to mind. Well, there's another one in Luluai as well. A big part and contributed immensely to the game of rugby league, and again an example of the contribution of the Pacific Island community towards not only rugby league but the sport here in New Zealand.
Some nice little play there from Sherlock at a dummy half. Find Jay Puki. Limmer steps out of one tackle. Craig Smithy should have just gone into the corner himself there. Just as well Junior Solival up to it with a catch. A nice little sleight of hands here from Jay Puki there. Of course, the captain Johnny Limmer, been around for a long time, Dale. This bloke, Craig Smith, unfortunate last week with a massive gash to his head from Vince Whare. Just a little bit about Junior Solival, the happiest man in Canterbury last week when he got named. Jumping around, it was like you were watching the Samoan haka.
Yeah, good one. It's good to see, and I'm going to pay tribute to Johnny Limmer. What a contribution he's made to the local footy scene. Sione Tongia is taking the kick. It's a difficult one too, this versatile outside back. He's got legs like David Tua as well, though. And he's just about a metre in from touch and 20 out. It's right at home, straightening brilliantly away. There he goes. Sione Tongia, Dubai. Another Panama Road boy. You'll be proud about that one, Pete.
There's no shortage. It'll continue coming. All you've got to do is open the gates and keep selecting the right ones, Kempy, and you'll do fine there. I like the play here by the resident side. They persisted with it. They'd come down here to play earlier. They were denied, but they stuck in there. They knew it was the right-hand side. Salival persisted and got the result.
Just a little bit about Sione Tongia. I was watching him at training on Thursday, and he was throwing passes left to right like Andrew Johns, Richie Blackmore, of course, coach of Otahu, there, another Kiwi legend. But he was throwing passes left to right like Andrew Johns. He was kicking goals like Andrew Johns. I thought I was looking at Andrew Johns, but then he ran out and he runs in the second row.
Mate, I often find that plenty of kids have the same amount of talent and ability as the big guns. But it's about being able to perform it when you've got a whole lot of bullets being fired at you. You know, they can all catch and pass, they can all chip and regather, but do it when you've got bullets being fired at you. That's what sets them apart, but certainly got the raw ability.
Well, there's a penalty now for a high shot. That shot put on Pat Matolino out of Wellington. And we are 40 metres away from the residence line. Back to Johnny Limmer, who has been the skipper of the Canterbury team, really inspirational skipper as well. He played bodyguard for both Canterbury and Wellington. Had a stint in Workington in the UK, if you recall, and if you go back some years to NZA and the New Zealand residents and New Zealand Māori. So Johnny Limmer has really done, or had, a wonderful career. Left, right and centre. 26-14, just on 10 minutes gone in the second half again. A reminder, 0900 756 33. If you're enjoying the football or you can just sense the occasion and you've not yet contributed, here is your chance to make a $20 donation. Simple as, just pick up your phone, 0900 756 33.
Two gentlemen who spent plenty of time in the north of England, and that one there, just in the background there of the coach Luyangi, there he is, Richard Brown. This is the real deal when you talk about NFL. 10 years in the NFL, San Diego Chargers, the Cleveland Browns, and then finished his career with the Minnesota Vikings. So plenty of quality about the makeup of the Samoa side here this afternoon, coming from all quarters, rugby, NFL, and unfortunately not a try on that occasion.
He went for it. He had a go at a one-on-one strip there. Junior Solivao hit ball right out there in the open. Nice little run across the field here to this western touchline. Unfortunately couldn't get away with it on that occasion, Dale.
Well, just before we pack down the scrum, as I've reminded you, almost entirely the crew here that are helping with the broadcast and the people who have provided the equipment to allow it to happen have donated their services. And that's the same with Māori Television. We'll just follow the play for a moment here. The scrum feeders with the residents who will be working away from their danger zone. Māori Television has stepped in and said, hey, we'll allow it to go across our airwaves. You're watching it as a result of their generosity, and it's very good that that Jim Mather, who heads Māori Television, is signed on with Tamati to just talk about Māori Television's positioning and why they felt it important to support today's kaupapa.
Tēnei o ngā mahi he mahi whakahira he mahi rangatira mō ngā uri o Hāmoa. Ai kei te tika, kei taku taha te tāhuhu rangapu o whakaata Māori a Jim Mather. Jim, tēnā koe.
Tēnā koe, Tamati. I te tuatahi kei te pirangi ahau kia mihi atu ki ngā tangata katoa o Hāmoa i tēnei wā tino pauri. Ka hi ahau hoki kia mihi atu ki ngā whanaunga o tōku horangatira ko Susan i te kāinga o Lalomanu i Hāmoa. Engari ki au nei he mea tino nui mō tātou katoa kia tino tautoko i tēnei kaupapa tino nui.
Jim, I guess what's led for Māori Television to want to broadcast such an event like this?
For us, it's really important to support our Pacific brothers and sisters, particularly those in Samoa that have been devastated by the tsunami. And it's in times of need that we really need to look to each other for support. And this is one of those, unfortunately, devastating times of need for the people of Samoa. So this is our humble and small contribution to all of the relief activities occurring to raise funds for our families and whānau and Polynesian cousins in both Samoa, Tonga and all other affected areas in the Pacific.
Jim, for those that don't know, your wife's family is directly affected by this.
Yes, I've just been talking to my brother-in-law, Peter Ropati. He's part of our commentary team today. He's just come back from Samoa. Sadly, he's reported that 6 of our wider ainga whānau in Samoa have passed away as a result of the tsunami. So all of the blessings and condolences of Māori Television, the wider whānau of Māori Television, go to my wife's village of Lalomanu in Samoa.
Ka tika hoki memehira ki tō hoa rangatira i tēnei wā ko hia te pare kawa ki runga i tō whānau pani. Ka hokia ki te rākau kōrero ki a koe Dale.
Tēnā pē Tamati. Well, as you've seen, Jay Pukipuki's been one of the best this afternoon for the residents. Again, close to the line, and Tony, big and powerful, and he had good leg drive and body position to just force his way over the line, even though there was a ton of defence trying to stop him from doing so.
Yeah, a nice little combination there from the front, the Canterbury front row. Both of them, Jay Pukipuki, of course, making the most of his call up into a starting position, just burying his head there. I thought Sawaya Matagi was going to go in there from the tap. Nice defence from the Samoans on the line. They stopped them with that nice blue wall, but on that occasion they just persevered, I suppose is the word, Pete.
Kempi, you talk about a blue wall. What about the play before? Ruben Wiki didn't even move off the line, just held his ground. They came straight and it was like a wall. Dead set, boom, didn't even flinch.
No, well, look at him, Ruben. They built a, as we go here, Sione can kick. Just doesn't get the reward that one, but they did build that bronze statue of the brick, didn't they? Ruben Wiki, I remember looking at it in an art display and thinking, gee, I'm sure they made that of me.
Well, a couple of times I've brushed past Ruben and I've felt steel. Hang on, no, I'm gonna just go there. Or copper.
Copper. Yeah, mate. No, he's doing triathlons now at the moment, Ruben. It's a new passion of his. Him and his wife, of course, getting stuck into the fitness. Look at him. He's
got plenty of game time so far, hasn't he?
He is looking.
He's getting plenty.
He doesn't even look like he's out of place. Watch out, the NRL coming back, Ruben. You're in trouble, mate. You're gonna have to go around for another 3 years.
Well, I tell you what, they've come to their senses, inviting him back to help mentor some of the young players. There's no doubt that he has an influence on their attitude. He's a hugely
check that one out.
regarded professional.
Check that one out when you talk about influence.
Dylan Davis. Well, Dylan again is a reminder that the big man can have influence. He plays with plenty of ticker, Dylan, and some people might see him as a prop shape from yesteryear, but he's still been a very effective prop forward right throughout the Fox Championship and also the Bartercard Championship.
I'll tell you what, a lot of these blokes are going to get so much prestige out of even running into Ruben Wiki. They have the footage on Māori television. They'll keep it in their archives for years to come to show all their mokapuna. But Dylan Davis, of course, here you can hit him with a 10-ton tank and it ain't going to stop that young fella.
With the ball now, this is Tupu Ulufale, who hails from. Pete's all in the know here.
Saliailua, another one of those players that are involved in the rugby circuit. Plenty of talent, and this will help their cause as well. There's a sense in the game at the moment that's just going into that bit of a lull. The resident side scoring that try, so important now that Samoa doesn't allow a gap to develop between the two sides, and the best way is getting into territory and playing football at the right end. If they play it this way at the end that they want to be, and they'll come up with that unpredictability and speed, which they've already demonstrated to come up with two wonderful tries.
Got Bamford and Tufao warming up again down here in the sideline too. Probably the better carriers in the premiership side. So if Samoa are going to look at going in, they'd want to do it in this set of 6. They haven't had the ball for a while, Pete. And you're dead right. This bloke here carrying the football's had a whale of a game at the moment. Unlucky not to go through and score that try when he stole the ball off Junior. But Ruben setting the platform. Look at them go left here. Setting up for a shot down there.
Yes, good field position. They decide to break right. Little dummy. And the hole starts to open up. So Toa Samoa close to the line now. Will Ruben Wiki be able to bang his way over? Here he's just playing as decoy. A little double around 2 for the number 8. Looking for a way through that. Sam Hewitt will play the ball right underneath the post. Important that Samoa come up with the next points. There goes the fast pass. Back up on the inside. Fullback now. Rubber kick and then, in fact, a chip over the top. Referee says it's taken on the full. We'll restart on the 20. So 30-14 it remains. Just running through some of the stats for you. It's been pretty good control today by the Bartercard selection. 21 from 28. They also have had the ball around 60% of the game thus far, and territory pretty much even. Well, Joe Vagana has been back in New Zealand since November of last year. He says it's wonderful to be back in good old God Zone after 8 years across in the UK, and he was the co-coach this season for the East Coast Bays Tornadoes. They did well. They came 4th in the Fox Championship, but he certainly is enjoying being here and running the water or being whatever help he can be to Toa Samoa. Joe Vagana is sidelined with Tamati.
The former Warrior, now the Waterborough, I guess for the Samoan team today. Joe, what does this mean for the Samoan people?
Oh, it's just, great support. Amongst other fundraisers that are going on around the country and all over the place. It's just the boys' rugby league to show as a sport, getting together and showing our support to our people back home.
Now, tell me, there was a bit of talk. Ruben came out of retirement. It kind of looked like you were ready to just throw those water bottles away and put on the old jersey and help the team out.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But then after that first tackle, I thought, now I'm glad to be holding these waters. Rubes, there's only a few legends in our game, and, only a legend could take the field. So, as long as he's out there, we've got a chance.
Good on you, champ. Back to you, Dale.
Thanks, Tamati. He's a nice bloke, Joe Vagana, and he gave us a lot of pleasure as viewers when he was running around here in New Zealand, but he made a big influence in the UK. Also, Pete, I noticed that when I was watching early in the week, they were observing a minute's silence too, all the way over in England, because Samoan players have become a very integral part of the English Super League competition as well. A nice touch that the English fans would also acknowledge the devastation that's hit the islands a long, long way from where they live.
In both codes in the Northern Hemisphere, not only in league, the amount of Samoan players that are involved in the union code up there, and you already mentioned the Samoan coach this afternoon, Tuolangi, plenty of time with Leicester. But Joe Wagner, one of the best, and certainly achieved a lot down this end, but we didn't perhaps see the best of him playing his time up in the Northern Hemisphere. Kempe to be voted as the team of the century for Bradford, Man of Steel a number of times. He is an absolute star.
Yeah, you're dead right, Joe. A big man too, Pete. You stand next to him, and I know you hold a bit of size yourself, but he even makes you look like a dwarf.
No.
Does he have Manu Vatave?
Well, there's even bigger. When you talk about big, I sat beside Inga Toigamala on the way coming home, and Dad said that guy needs 3 chairs. I felt like I was sort of tucked under his armpit trying to talk to him. He is huge. And Joe, well, good to see. He reminded us at the beginning of the year when he returned that his waist size was a 34-inch Samoan waist. So I guess translated into Palangi size, that means 46. And still growing.
Residents hot on attack now. 5 away from the try line. They've kept them in good check towards Samoa. Now with Calvin Wright. Stares it up the middle and finds Dylan Davis.
He's having a good little battle, him with too. Dylan with Brendan Wiki.
Sherlock out of dummy half and away from one. Gets the ball out the back door. It's gone to ground though. That's Bamford with it now. And the Toa Samoa defenders gain themselves 15 metres by just enthusiasm. Now the residents team, 25 from the line. First receiver is Wright. Has a little look and decides to change the point of attack. Works it on the far side. Nice little interplay. And Sullivan coming up with the football. Almost breaking through Sullivan. Tony rates him high, and I can understand why now. 5 from the try line. The residents up by 30-14 here in this League 4 Samoa clash today. And talk about clashes on the far side.
Well, they needed the numbers there on Bamford. It was unfortunate that he got caught into the acting half position, because off the ruck, that's where the threat comes.
I tell you what, Ruben Wiki is amazing. He just throws everything he's got but the kitchen sink when he goes into a football game. He's come right from the far end of the field here to tackle Chris Bamford. It's going to be tough for them to hold him out here, though, the Samoans.
Yeah, you just sort of sense that they're starting to tire. The residents starting to grow in confidence as well. They might. 30-14. We're into the last quarter of the game here at Mount Smart. Worked away, and there's the run that we were half anticipating too. And it's a good run too by Siala Tufao. He's been very good this afternoon, but right throughout the season as well. And he's in to score underneath the posts with the kick to come.
Plenty of energy used on the far side to deny Bamford, put numbers into the tackle. Then there was the need to be able to align yourself and get some shape back in your defensive line, get some width, because the residents were always set to bring it all the way back, to go through the length of the field, find some width in it, and to be able to find Tofi Vau on the left-hand side, well constructed.
Yeah, nice pass there from Nathan Sherlock out to Darren King. He's just found Tufao, who's, like Dale said, had a wonderful season. He's got a wonderful carry. Reminds me a lot of Ali Lautiti, the way that he plays. Got a nice right-hand offload too, if he ever needs it. But very happy to be selected in this side.
That one-hand carry too. He does remind you of Ali. He continues to terrorise people up there in the Northern Hemisphere, doesn't he? Gee, he's been great. It's been wonderful again to witness his career unfold. We knew he was good here, but he's now regarded as one of the best, isn't he? As a result of what, been up there half a dozen years already, would he?
Yeah, I think it was 1993 when Ali first went. 2003 when Ali first went up there. 2004, sorry, it was. So he has been up there, what's that, 5 years, going into his 6th season next. Dale just signed a new contract too, the big man. So Craig Smith here just moves in. Got a number of kickers in the side. That's one of the things the selectors looked at, Pete, was to make sure that every one of them could kick goals.
Well, they better keep kicking, otherwise they're going to get the sack.
Good to see Bobby Verco too down there, long-standing New Zealand trainer. Been around with a number of teams, number of New Zealand junior teams. Got the maddest mullet from West Auckland. Just have a look at his white shoes in the background there. But I saw him before the game, Bobby. He was real happy to be a part of this event. And again, like Dale said, throwing in his weight behind the game. There's the number, Whanau, 0900 756 33.
Can you sing it?
0900 756 33. Come on.
That's a bad rap.
There you are, Whānau. 0900 756 33, $20 donation. Don't just sit there and enjoy the football. Hey, you can tautoko as well. I know many of you already have, but for those of you who haven't and want to, it's a nice simple formula for you to follow. Also, while we're at it, there are a number of fundraisers happening up here in Tamaki Makaurau, and no doubt across the country. There's a big gig of all the musos who've put their hands up as well, and just as we have here this afternoon where people have donated time and services and equipment rental, the same's happening at the Victor Arena this week, so that is a hit. Yeah, and our man from the Residents bounced up fairly quickly. I didn't think that he would.
Yeah, tough little kid, Darren Kingy. Nice kick down this left-hand side by Calvin Wright too, leading the kick chase down. The Samoan boys still putting plenty of venom into that tackle that they got. Ho kere there, Darren Kingy, but like you said, bounced up. Paddy Tumavavi and James Luluai there. The old cheese cutter on Paddy.
I was about to say, he's looking quite distinguished as our Paddy. But good to see him and Tony Tumavavi here this afternoon as well. Talking about the relief going on in Samoa now and obviously all the initiatives that are going on throughout the country, and I'm sure they'll continue for the next little while. So important that as it moves into that next stage, recognising perhaps what's important, plenty of offer of food and clothing, and I think most people are pretty well covered now in those categories. It's really looking forward to how they rebuild, and more importantly for plenty, it's about getting their accommodation, their housing, it's furnishings that they've all been severely hammered by. So 10,000 raised on the gate today. That's a wonderful effort, and that $2,000 on Mad Butcher sausages as well. So, you know, when you look at the time in Samoa and in normal circumstances, you would sit back and laugh. But, you know, in the irony of what I saw over the last couple of days, it just sort of reminded me just how tough and resilient when you see a couple of Samoans with nothing more than a machete on a chair and a Coca-Cola case to get a little bit higher, no step-up ladder, trying to build himself a house. You know, it just goes to show that whatever you can, and if you've got the energy and the desire, anything's possible. And you know, slogans around which, you know, the future is bright. You know, so not afraid to look forward and look ahead, and life goes on, and tough, but they go forward.
Yeah, tēnā koe, Pete. And just a reminder, if you've joined our commentary and coverage of this game a bit late, Peter Ropati just arrived home this morning and visited the village where his people are from. Sadly, half a dozen of his beloved whānau are no longer with us as the Residents try to be just a little bit too ambitious there. The inside
That's a
ball.
try.
Is that going to be called a try, Tony?
That's a try.
Oh, excuse me.
It's not the try. You have a look at the ball here from Sale Tufao, where he comes around the corner to find Gunther Schomkel. I'm sitting here listening to your kōrero, Dale, and just gone, where did that come from? James Blackwell, of course, playing to the whistle there. If they try to throw the ball back on the inside, bouncing off a Samoan chest, gets his hat trick. Little James had an outstanding season too, he has, but man in the headgear there. Tufao, where's he been sitting on the bench? He's come on, he's scored one, he's set one up, and he's put it out of reach. But just have a look. Nice play here. Gets out of a tackle here. Pat Mozzolino finds Calvin. Nice ball out to Darren Kingy. But it's this pass here. Oh,
that's beautiful. Then Gunther flicks it back on the inside, and the referee deems played at, and I guess it was too. So James says, is that sweet? And then he likes the post-try celebrations. What's he got for us today? A little offload from Matolino.
The Tofiel play coming up. Yeah, and this is when you get your set combinations back on, with Calvin Wright being able to just control the play a little bit more, recognising that the threat is often about shifting it wide, using your strength. And Tofiel, you've touched on it, call him the Ali lookalike. When you have little touches of dancing ability as well, why not? Put it on show. It's a big stage today for them.
Indeed, 40-14, not unexpected. Tony, when we first reviewed the squad representing New Zealand, he said, gee, that's a nice looking lineup. He says, yeah, they're a good team and formed team, of course, predominantly out of the finalists.
I'll tell you one thing we did do with them, Dale, is we took them over yesterday and introduced them to the Kiwis. The Kiwis all presented this premiership side with their playing jumpers and sat down and all had a kōrero together in a photo, and it's something that we wanted to show that they could aspire to. And Benji Marshall having some wonderful words saying It is great to see grassroots football finally back on the stage in New Zealand. And not to forget that dreams do come true, so you never know. We may say Tofao here with another nice ball to Gunther Schumkel. Back inside of James Blackwell. Has he got the speed here?
Well, he's certainly got the skills. Look, you never quite know what you're going to get when James Blackwell's out and about. Now he appeals to the referee saying, hey, he's stolen my thunder. I was going to get number 4, but that fella, dead set, got in front of me. He's having a whale of a time out there, Blackwell. Again, whānau, 0900 756 333 is the number to call. $20 goes straight up to the appeal fund for the people of Samoa. If the loss of life wasn't bad enough, when the infrastructure of the country has been hit in such a way, roads washed away, the drainage systems, schools, etc., all affected. There's a huge rebuilding job. They're putting it at $100 million. And while money's raised from the gate here today might not seem massive, coupled with all of the other efforts, it will make a big difference. And I also must again acknowledge the Mad Butch, who said prior to our broadcast he'd put up 5 clicks. So he's made 2 on the sausage sizzle, but he's going to actually front 5 himself. So
you'll be surprised, Dale, the Araha, the Alofa, people feel, and I guess when you look for energy to inspire and to allow you to be able to get up and face the next day, invaluable, and it's all recognised.
And I think the tape of this broadcast will end up back in the islands. They'll see that people have come out and given generously. They'll be very proud of the performance of their lads from I think there's only 9 clubs up there, isn't there, Pete?
9 clubs in the local competition, and as mentioned, many of these boys on show this afternoon playing or coming from Savaii, and for many of them, it's perhaps more consistent with their style of footy that we've seen this afternoon. It's about playing 9-a-side, and you see in the likes of Iasefa and Pasengi as well, that when they start to shift that ball around, given plenty of space, good footwork. Unfortunately, they're just being knocked down there, but nice little attempt there by Chan Tun as well.
So what else for the New Zealand residents team? This is an international. Any plans, or do you sense that in future, perhaps next season, Tony, there'll be even more opportunity, maybe a tour somewhere as well?
Yeah, what we'd like to do, Dale, is make sure that the residents 16s, 18s, and of course the Premier selection get to play again against our Pacific neighbours, either here or home or away. We know there were changes, of course, that have recent restructure of the New Zealand Rugby League governance level, and the support that we're getting from Spark and the likes is changing the face of the game of rugby league in New Zealand. So it's all about the future. 2010 is going to hold some pretty good events, I think, and we're going to build our game that has needed rebuilding for a number of years. So this is the first initiative. I know it's not ideal, because we would have liked to have the 16s and the 18s playing today, but one step at a time, Dale.
It is exciting, isn't it, though? When you look at the foundation that's been put in place, the plan, the vision. We're not talking about, as often is the case, a strategy that's put together and then all of a sudden it becomes too hard, because there's some wonderful words in it. What you've got is something that's pragmatic and perhaps more importantly fluid and will be developed as you walk. And I think the event of the national club competition or the provincial competition, and again this afternoon an opportunity for the resident side to play an international, it's good stuff, and it's good for the local game.
Turnover of possession on the far side of the field. I'd like to thank OSB for the hireage of the gear. It does come with costs, obviously cameras and equipment when you broadcast rugby league. It's a costly exercise, and the people who've been behind the scenes, Freightways, I'd like to mihi to them as well for their generosity. Kids Graphics for their tautoko and allowing all the images and graphics to come through, and Main Freight as well. So many businesses have been generous with their time here this afternoon, and likewise to those people at home who have enjoyed the game and have helped out with donations. Kia ora to you, and to the 1,500 or so people who've made their way to the stadium today. Again, say thanks to them, and a reminder too that there are many who have a dual Māori and Samoan whakapapa, just like Ruben Wicks. Hula huckers, we call them, Pete.
Well, we're not bad with the hula. And
I've seen you do the hula a couple of times, Pete.
But you must be dragging the chain a little bit now, my old mate. A bit of a fight back from the islands this morning. We went up early. But well worth it to have you back here as part of the commentary. A real privilege.
No, and again, extend the gratitude, and can't be more grateful for the opportunity, I think, to be part of this afternoon. I think we'd all, as former players, would love the opportunity that Ruben's been afforded. The next best thing, I think, is to sit back and be part of an event and talk about it. That's the easy part.
What's the travel movements for the Samoan team now, Tony?
Well, they go, of course, tomorrow morning. They head up to Cairns to play in a qualifying match against the Cook Islands. The winner of that game, of course, jumping into the Pacific Rim tournament that's played in Papua New Guinea to find next year's Four Nation participant. So some very big carrots dangled in front of our Pacific partners. Samoa, of course, being one of them, Dale, and a few of these boys, I'd say, would have the opportunity to play in those games.
And the favourite at the moment, Kempy?
Well, the favourite has to be Papua New Guinea. I think Fiji with the loss of Jared Hayne. I know that they played some pretty good football last year in the World Cup. They'll be a strike force, but Papua New Guinea look like they've got a very good team together. They played the Australian Presidents 13, which had most of the Australian side in it. They needed a run, and competed pretty well against them. So I know Samoa are looking to make up for last year, and of course Tonga play against New Zealand. Is he going to go in for his fourth year, James? Is he? No. Passes it on to Nathan Sherlock, who goes over and scores his try. But Tonga playing against New Zealand, they're all going to be prepared, Pete. It's about, I suppose, a short format, whoever shows up just for that week.
Well, we talk about the island influence, and not only in NRL but also in the Northern Hemisphere. PNG is perhaps a nation that's certainly spread its wings over the last sort of 10, 15 years. There was a time when their national side would be largely represented by local base players. Very different. Very different.
Very different now, that's right.
Nathan Sherlock, the try scorer. Nathan's from the Linwood Kiers down there in Canterbury. He's Australian born but came to New Zealand 3 years ago. He has had a run too for the Balmain under-21s. Second year playing for the Canterbury Bulls, and very nearly the fourth try for this James Blackwell. Is an excitement machine. He's like a jack-in-the-box. You just can't seem to stop him, like a spinning top. Call him what you will. Gets the little offload. Sherlock reaches out and claims 4. And a well-deserved 4-2 for a good season. And, of course, as the now reigning champions of the provincial scene, Canterbury very, very pleased with how things have panned out. We'll just ride this kick home now. And it's Smith who takes the kick and is successful with it. So 46 points now to the New Zealand residents team. It's been a good second half. Remember, they went into the break at 20-14, so they have performed very well. One man who is one of the most popular, who might not hail from Samoa, it's from Tonga, but I think every sports fan in New Zealand enjoys his attitude towards sport, both on and off the field. Of course, we're talking about Manu Vatuvai and his sideline with Tamati.
Yes, Dale, and the great thing about it, I guess, is that he was actually informed by the docs not to come out due to his injury, but he just felt the need to come out and support what's happening here today. Manu, tēnā koe.
Kia ora.
Look, I guess for yourself to come out and support, it must be something special for yourself to just be here in support of the people of Samoa.
Yeah, for sure. It's for a good cause. It's for something that happened, the tsunami that happened in Samoa, and my partner's Samoan too, and she kind of lost her auntie in American South, so I just wanted to come and show my support and come and watch old Rubes put on the jersey again, so it's pretty good. Yeah.
For those of the viewers that are at home, I guess supporting them and making donations as well.
Yeah, for sure. If everyone can make donations for the good cause of tsunami in Samoa, would be great. They've fundraised a bit today, and I know some more people should help out too, so it'll be great. So yeah.
Tēnā rā koe Manu, kau kia ki te rākau kōrero ki a koe rā e teo.
Tēnā koe Tamati. He's a good bloke, that Manu Vatuvai, Pete. And there's the simple as formula 0900 756 33. The Beast. I don't like that term. We might give him another name instead of the Beast. How about the good bloke?
Well, for some of us, there's only one Beast, and that's Kevin Edel.
Yeah, true.
But we shouldn't overlook as well that Tonga certainly wasn't spared. Perhaps not to the same extent with the recent tsunami, but it also unfortunately felt the brunt of nature as well.
Well, and of course we were reminded last week when they had another earthquake just off Indonesia. You know, we are all vulnerable in the Pacific, and it's right that New Zealanders support our Pacific cousins, because something like that could happen to us as well. It hasn't yet, although Sione Tongia is looking like a bit of a tsunami himself at the moment, like a wave, and through he goes to score. He is quite brilliant. Sione Tongia is in to score about 10 to the left-hand side of the post, and they'll post their half-century, which is maybe a little disappointing for the Toa Samoan team. But hey, it's all about celebrating effort here today, and a great fundraising effort as well. Congratulations to New Zealand Rugby League, who've had the foresight to turn what was just a game into a benefit fundraiser for the tsunami victims. Let's have another look at this try as we see Calvin Wright steering it up the inside, and from there a quick bust and real tough to stop Sione Tongia.
Well, when you talk about tough to stop, when you've got size and speed and plenty of ability to be able to play close to the ruck there, once you get through the first line, well, the job just gets tougher. He's a big man. You know, Kempe was talking about the ability and what he can do, the skills that he certainly brings to the game. No shortage of pace and power. Samoa, they had their opportunity down the other end. Unfortunately, weren't able to convert. Plenty of time in the game today by Ruben Wiki, just getting, I'm not quite sure whether it be words of encouragement, the way the boys are with each other. I'd say you'd have a bit of a G up, but Soliolo's certainly would not be disrespectful of Ruben Wiki and his efforts here this afternoon. He looked as though he didn't miss a beat. You know, he came on, the pace initially until he settled into it, but he got into it and certainly didn't look out of place. Played well.
And the extras added by the try scorer. As you can see, Ruben Wiki there with Isaac Luke, Manu Vatuvai in the background, Soliola, and also Sam Perrott. And I'm pleased that they stuck with Sam. He hasn't let the black jersey down.
He's played well. And
even though his team didn't do well, the Roosters in season 09, he certainly tried hard right throughout the 24 odd games that he played, and good to see him in the squad. So a reminder too, Rotorua this week, it's Wednesday night, and that of course the Tonga v New Zealand game, and then our boys following the very next day on the big flight across to Great Britain, where they play in the Four Nations. And we certainly wish Steve Kearney and the rest of the New Zealand Kiwis squad well, as the kickoff is taken and the curtain about to come down on this clash. It's a big scoreline now at 52 to 14, but we must also be reminded that it's been difficult preparation for Toa Samoa. It is a completely domestically based squad, and as Pete mentioned when we first started our commentary, many of the boys playing double codes, i.e. rugby, and then moving across the league, and some coming from sevens, and so we've witnessed plenty of ticker, and that's little knock on, and that'll call it quits, one suspects. That'll probably do it. In fact, that will do it. And at 52-14, Pete, not an unexpected result, but a great celebration of rugby league between the two countries, and more importantly, a chance to raise some much-needed spondoolies and putia for our whānau up in the islands.
And understanding the spirit of the game and perhaps the initiative as to what they're all playing for here this afternoon. It's a wonderful effort, and first 40 minutes of football, Samoa well in the game, just denied going into the halftime to be able to equalise. So just behind at the split, the second half, well, once you got the combination back for the resident side, they settled back into the game and certainly posed a threat where they were strong. That was on the edges. Bamford was on one side, and whenever they came, and when you look at the introduction of the likes of Tolifel, they were good. They played strong, and plenty of questions asked of Samoa defensively.
Well, there's how you can support 0900 756 33, but please don't go away, because we're going to have our post-match interviews. We'll even catch up with the Rubes and find out how he enjoyed the hit out. But New Zealand residents too strong here in the benefit for Samoa here at Mount Smart number 2. Back in a moment for the post-match review. Well, win or lose, the pride in their homeland is unmistakable. And a wonderful sight as Ruben Wiki leads Samoa in post-match celebrations. in the end, the scoreline was somewhat irrelevant as we acknowledge the efforts of both squads, the thousands who turned up here today, and those of you at home who have contributed. All New Zealanders touched by the tragedy that has occurred in recent times up through the Pacific, and congratulations to the New Zealand team as well. Once again, that number that you can call to donate $20, it will be added to your telephone bill as 0900 756 33. 0900 756 33. Congratulations to the New Zealand resident squad, Brent Stewart, their coach, Johnny Limmer, their captain as well. And they have done themselves and their provinces proud this afternoon. 52-14 in the final washout. And of course it's a wonderful opportunity again to say thanks to the Mad Butcher, the ARC who allowed the ground to be used at no cost, and for Māori Television and their connections who allowed to the use of their equipment today to bring the broadcast to you at home. Tamati sideline now with Peter Rowe, who just got back, as I mentioned, from Samoa this morning. It's been a wonderful chance to call with him in the commentary position as well. We cross down sideline to them now.
Ai ka tika rā hoki, and I guess despite the score, I guess Ropo was all about the passion and everybody coming out here and supporting the day.
Yeah, don't lose sight of the reason behind why this game has been played today, and what Ruben's talking about at the moment is the tragedy back in Samoa. But I just had a quick word to Logan Swan on the way across, and he was proud. You know, for 40 minutes Samoa very, very competitive. In the second half they were caught out, I guess, where they were always going to be tested, and that's about making the right defensive decisions. But ball in hand, plenty of excitement and plenty of ability, and I wish them all the well in their next encounter as they look to qualify, I think, to be part of the next World Cup.
And I guess this is also a time for celebration as well.
Well, it's a time of celebration, I think, for the resident side, the opportunity to see the initiatives being deployed by New Zealand Rugby League, giving them a chance to be on a stage that, hey, if you don't make the Pro League, well, there's still a competition going on to play local football. And I think for the Samoans, they're involved in an international. They played a New Zealand resident side, and they played with spirit and heart, and their thoughts and their energy this afternoon was for the people back home in Samoa. So celebrate and look to go stronger and play the next game. That's what footy's about, the next game now.
And for those that want to make donations, you'll call it all?
Oh, there's plenty of opportunities now, I think, and the opportunity is really about talking about the next stage. The next stage is really looking about how you can contribute the things that they need most. Plenty of clothing, plenty of food being offered their way. The next stage, I think, is really looking at how you can help people rebuild their homes. They've lost all their belongings, so it's about furnishings. It's about capacity, I think, to assist in terms of building those homes. What I saw yesterday, with very little tools, nothing more than a sharp knife, and rocks and a spade to dig a hole, very little on offer, but they make the most of what they've got. So people who've got the capacity to assist, to make it a little bit easier, that's what they're looking for now.
Well, I guess, Peter, ngā mihi kia koe, and thank you for joining us in this broadcast and promoting the sport as well, and for what's happened. Nō reira, ngā mihi atu rā, me kia ke, hei whakakapinga ake, rātou te pito mate kia rātou, tātou te pito ora kia tātou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.